Welcome back to GG Weekend Watch, kindly sponsored by Bet.UK. We are on to the fourth and final day of the 2023 Cheltenham Festival, where we have the big race itself, the Gold Cup. But we're going to begin with race one even. This is the Triumph Hurdle, the Grade 1 4-year-olds over 2 mile. One comes up at 1:30, and it's Willie Mullins to the 4 yet again with Blood Destiny, and Lossiemouth now sharing favouritism after Blood Destiny has been a very well touted horse on the Cheltenham Festival preview circuit, so hence why his price is shortened up quite significantly. But Daryl, who wins the Triumph?
Hopefully Blood Destiny. And I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back, but I'm saying this because otherwise it looks like I'm just with the top of the market all the time at the moment. But
you just got up 100 to 1 shot. I don't think we can quite say that to you.
Other than that one. But tip Blood Destiny at 33 to 1 for this. And I've been on him since. Obviously, and the reason was because Otoy, he ran on the same card as Lossiemouth, same course and distance in the following race Lossiemouth ran. He was 20. He himself was not Bozenev. He himself was 20 lengths faster than Lossiemouth was. So I couldn't understand the disparity in the process at the time. He's gone out of Cork, won really well, very easily beating Sir Alan by 5 lengths. Sir Alan's rated 127 and prominent in the Boodles market. He's then gone to Fairy House and absolutely destroyed Common Practice, Nursery, and a few others. You could argue that they were looking for handicap marks down the line, but he'd done it so very easily. And I love the way that Paul Town just nudged him down the back of the neck and he took off. His jumping has been exceptional in 2 starts, bar 1 or 2 hurdles that he kicked out of the way. But Paul Townend gave a really good comment about him after the race and said he was just dossing. He was doing nothing there, literally nothing. And Willie Mullins has described him as a fair tool. And I've never heard Willie Mullins describe a horse like that. So I'm very, very hopeful that Blood Destiny can get the better of the 2 mares. They're very, very much respected. The stats are against the mares of 1 for 27. In this particular race. I think Burning Victory since 2000. Burning Victory was the horse that won, but she was very lucky as Gosham was 10 lengths up. Those under 12 to 1 since 2000, 0 for 11, including 2 favourites. So they've got the stats to overcome, but they're very, very good mares, and he's got to give away £7. I think the market has it about right. The vibes about Blood Destiny are very strong. I like him. I'm very hopeful, but I have been in the position before where I've tipped up a big price horse and it's got beaten. So I'm hopeful rather than really confident.
We'll take that, honestly. At this stage, we really will do. And I'm just delighted I wore red for this podcast. I'm also with Blood Destiny. And it's another one where it's almost like, when you find a band and you really like them, and then all of a sudden they become really mainstream and popular and everyone sides of them, you're kind of you're a bit miffed by it. That's what I feel like with Blood Destiny.
I'll just say another thing.
That's a good analogy, that one.
Thank you. You can have it.
Last year, when Vauban went in this race and won this race, Willie Mullins put a tongue tie on him for this, and it brought out another step of improvement. Now, Blood Destiny wore a tongue tie in Otoy. He hasn't had it on the last 2 starts, so it might just be interesting to see if he sticks a tongue tie on Blood Destiny when he goes for the race. So, yeah, cracking race, isn't it?
That's very true, actually, isn't it? Yeah, and Willie Mullins is not afraid of a tongue tie. So many of his horses wear tongue ties. They don't wear the cross noseband. They're happy to go with a Cavison noseband, but then with a tongue tie as well. And it doesn't do harm unless the horse has got a really odd temperament, which I don't get the vibe from Blood Destiny that he has. So if anything, Vauban would have more of a dodgy temperament, I think, than him in terms of fizziness. So yeah, Blood Destiny, if he does get that back on, then that may well be a fascinating angle to take into it. Because I am also just concerned about Lossiemouth, where I was of the mindset where she was so unlucky last time out to have her own owner mates fall back in her path, but she did get a hard race, and in the end for the ground she had to make up. Don't buy into Willie Mullins' post-race analysis. I think he was very harsh on Paul Townend for that. But I am concerned about a 4-year-old filly, even with the 41-day break between, just coming on the back of that rather than Blood Destiny's just had the seamless path. So, yeah, we liked him before he was cool, Andrew. So who are you siding with?
all the wet leg fans are agreeing with you as well. My mate Dom, who was into Blur before everybody else, you know exactly where you're coming from. Yeah, I think Blood Destiny over Lossiemouth. I agree with what Daryl said. I'm not on at all. I'm not, but all the sectionals and speed figure merchants have been going about this for some time, so I'll give him a cheer if he wins. If you want to back one as an each way price, I'd go Comfort Zone, who's around about 12 to 1 for Joseph O'Brien. I mean, yeah, he's come over here and won 2 of our big juvenile races. I know that's not necessarily difficult for an Irish contender, but yeah, Comfort Zone won the finale at Chepstow because he won on trials day. And because then Aidan O'Brien sent over, Joseph O'Brien, I should say, sent over Nusray to win the Adonisicas. And, Comfort Zone's only defeat was a third to Lossiemouth, beaten around about 6 lengths. So, I mean, I think you're probably going to see the first 3 being Blood Destiny, Lossiemouth, Comfort Zone. So there's your trifecta. That might pay a few quid.
Oh, there you go. Nice trifecta in the Triumph. Goodness me, yeah. It's all gone wild on my last day. Just chuck everything at it, and yeah, we'll hope for the best then. The second race though is the county handicap hurdle, a Premier handicap for 5-year-olds and over 2 mile 1 at 2:10. A wide open race as per Daryl. So Andrew actually, sorry, back to you.
Go Daryl first if you like, because I've got to start.
Oh, grand. Daryl, wide open race. Who are you siding with?
Yeah, I think there's a smashing bet in here. I really do. Like, if he runs, should he run? It's SHARJAH. I think he's a cracking bet. He obviously was beaten by Phil Dorr last time at Gorham Park, but it was heavy ground. It was a small field. It was like a very sedate stop-start gallop that didn't suit him from his position. I thought he was worth an upgrade, finishing strongly there. Now he's obviously a 10-year-old. He's not going to be winning any more grade runs, but his last 10 starts, he's failed to finish outside of the first 2, and 9 of those have been in grade 1s. Like, it's remarkable, consistent profile. Hopefully he'll get some good ground by the end of the week with winds drying it up. That's what I'm hoping for. But a big field scenario, strong pace, 2 mile 1, I think is right up his street. If you watch his champion hurdles back, he was staying on really strongly on both occasions, just sort of giving too much to do. But I think he'll love weaving through this big field. If he was an old handicapper, I think he would have progressed through the routes in these type of races. There's so much to like about him. I think the Irish handicapper, the English handicapper, left him on 155. Yeah. I think that's very, very generous. I mean, he's not even top weight. I know Ilite Thompson's not running. Zana here is top weight. He's not even top weight in a handicap. Like, he loves Cheltenham, comes good in the spring. I think this is a class act in the field. I don't really like a lot of the. Normally, you'd look for like an unexposed novice for this race. I can understand people flocking to Pembroke, etc., Filey Bay, but I just think that they're not a million miles ahead of their handicap mark. Like, I don't understand how Hunter's Yarn can be rated 147 and SHARJAH rated 155. I think that's just madness, really. So I think he's a smashing each way, but it'd be my handicap better the entire week.
Oh, like it a lot then. And how much would we all love to see that SHARJAH, the old boy? You've got an old boy theme for some of these handicaps then. Some of these races, Daryl, haven't you? Yeah, 10 years old now, SHARJAH.
Willie did it with Arctic Fire back in 2017, finished second in the champion hurdle last year, then brought him to this race off top weight of 158 and won it. So hopefully he can do the same with SHARJAH. Yeah,
we know that, like say, he's more than happy to not swallow pride as such, but to track a horse from grade 1 company into handicap company if the mark's feasible. And the fact that the British handicapper has left him alone is very interesting for dear old SHARJAH for Daryl. Andrew, who are you siding with? I'm
siding with Willie Mullins and Dan Skelton.
Okay,
so that would bring in
that's a good way to play it.
Probably be about 8 horses on the day, but I mean, they've won 8 of the last 11 renewals between them. You back all their horses, 54 bets that have made you a profit of £70.25. I mean, Skelton's 3 from 13, but you could argue, indeed my friend George does, because this is his theory, that he's won it more than that, because when he was assistant to Paul Nicholls had a great record in the county hurdle. And perhaps Dan Skelton was the one who was responsible for laying out his Cheltenham handicappers. Since Skelton left to set up on his own, Nicholls has got a terrible record in the county. So that is a fair old theory, that. And so you've obviously got to give at least a second glance to every horse from those 2 yards, maybe Pembroke at this stage for Skelton.
Okay, then, but those 2 yards, that is fascinating. I remember you saying that now last year about the Nicholls record in the Cheltenham Festival handicaps, how good it was for when Dan Skelton was his assistant, and now obviously that form has just followed him to his own yard. So interesting ways to play the county for Andrew. Now, it is another one of the greatest races of the festival up next in the form of the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle for 5-year-olds and over 3 miles at 250, a race won by a superstar with some fluky idiot leading it up last year. But Andrew, who is going to be the lucky person to lead up this year's winner, and which horse wins it?
You want the name of the winning stable groom? John Smith. No,
Yeah.
I thought Hidden Valley Lake had excuses when beaten by Monty Star at Clonmel, and was the sort of one I was going with tentatively. Favre de Champs had possibilities as well. Cool Survivor, who represents the same connections, I thought will appreciate the likely strong gallop as well. But we've seen time and time again in this race, we've had some absolute shock results, haven't we? The sort of like, you know, the first three home priced at 40 to 1, 50 to 1, and 66, I think, going back a few years, when I had the fourth in the place pot. Which cost me a small fortune. That was about 40 to 1 as well. But yeah, it's one of those ones where it'll be hard enough to find the winner on the day. But I'll go Hidden Valley Lake for me, who was second last time out to Monty Star, around about 9 to 1, I think.
Okay, then Hidden Valley Lake for Andrew. Daryl, who are you siding with?
Yeah, but basically Andrew's just reeled off a very similar shortlist. It just included Corbett's Cross in it as well, because I thought Corbett's Cross was excellent and ace beating Founder 50, who I think is a very, very smart novice. I think he's probably one of the best novices being left at home. And I thought the way he dropped back from 3 miles from heavy ground on 3 miles at Ferryhouse last time, dropping back to an ace over 2 on good ground and having the speed to keep up with Founder 50, I thought was very, very interesting. I think he could be a very, very good horse. And if he turns up here, I think he'll take some beating. But they are talking about supplementing from other races. Now, he hasn't been supplementing today for the Ballymore, which is a good sign for backers if you want to back him in this particular race. But yeah, the two main plays in the race are Corbett Cross and Hidden Valley Lake. Hidden Valley Lake for the same reasons that Andrew mentioned. They went so slowly at Clonmel. They went 78 lengths faster on the second circuit as opposed to the first circuit. He was making the running, but it didn't suit him. He's not a quickener. He's a real stayer. And back on better ground, I think it'll be much improved performance from Hidden Valley Lake. So Hidden Valley Lake, Corbett's Cross.
Okay, so Hidden Valley Lake for the pair of you two, but also Corbett's Cross for our GP new acquisition, Akka Catchy, that we're going to be putting together then from all of his new purchases for the Cheltenham Festival.
JP bought him.
JP bought him, I'm pretty sure, hasn't he?
Has he?
I'm pretty sure he has. Stand to be corrected, but I'm pretty sure that he is another one that he's managed to acquire from Paul Byrne, doing a lovely bit of business. But like I said, there's been a whole load of them. I'll look it up when we're talking through our next race, just to make sure that I haven't just made that up.
Yes, you're right. So I've just Googled it.
Oh,
yeah, 5 days ago.
I thought I'd, you know, when you talk about so many horses over so many weeks, you're like, have I got that right? Okay, that's good then. At least I have. So he's another one then for the JP new acquisition, Akka. Now, it is the biggest one of them all up now, the blue ribboned event of National Hunt Racing, the Gold Cup, over 3 mile 2 at 3:30, and Galopin Des Champs stands alone at the head of the betting, but it's a seemingly wide open contest of those in behind him in the market anyway. So Daryl, how are you playing the Gold Cup?
I really like Galopin Des Champs, and I don't want to like a 6 to 4 shot for a Gold Cup, but I do. I was at the DRF obviously when he ran at Leopardstown, and oh god, he took some pulling up, and he just powered away after getting himself organised over jumping the last. He just powered away, and he's just shown the signs of a top quality horse. And that was a steadily run race. I don't think he will have any trouble staying the trip. I really don't. That wouldn't be my concern. My concern would be sort of a muddling race and him sort of, you know, getting into trouble, because I think he's by far the best horse in the race. I like Bravemansgame, I must admit. I think he's a really solid proposition each way. The reason being because he jumps so well, and over the first 4 fences, it's very, very important to jump well and gain a position. If he can jump those well and sit in the first quartet, I think he'll have every single chance. So I would ignore anyone that says really he's a flat track horse. I don't really believe that about him. He's improving. That King George performance was outstanding, really. You're brave and immediate back of Plutarch, but he was obviously very impressive in the race last year. I've gone off Statler a little bit since the DRF. I was on him earlier in the season, but he just looked really slow. He would have wanted a stronger run race, but he was on the pace, so I don't understand why they didn't try and make more use of him. Yeah, and for me, I think Galopin Des Champs is just the standout for me. So yeah, although the price is not juicy, I'm still with him.
Again, why muddle around with trying to find an each way play when you've got a horse that you think is just a good thing at the head of the market for Galopin Des Champs for the Gold Cup for Daryl? Andrew, who are you siding with?
Yeah, I'm not worried about Galopin Des Champs' stamina, but I am concerned about his jumping. It's amazing how many people I've heard tip him up who failed to mention that he fell in a 4-runner race here last year. Okay, he was clear at the time and would have won easily, but there was absolutely no pressure on him then, and he still managed to tip up. He's never raced in a chase of more than 7 runners. So if if this doesn't cut up and there's plenty of traffic, that's going to be new for him. So that will immediately make me concerned about backing a horse at sort of 6 to 4, 13 to 8, wherever he's going to be. A Plus Tard, impressive last year, but very difficult to back after that Betfair Chase run. Bravemansgame, I mean, my worry is that he probably a bit harsh to say he's gone off the boil in the spring, but his 3 runs in the spring previously, he's been beaten every time, second, third, and fourth. Albeit in good races. When you look at his record since that win, since he's had a wind operation from October to February, he's won 9 from 10, and he was a narrow second in the other on that first start back after the wind surgery. I do think he's better at Kempton than he will be at Cheltenham. Great horse though he is. I think he's a fantastic horse. I think he'll get beaten here. He will finish out the first 3. He'll come back and win at Kempton last time out. Certainly won't want to be backing him each way 3 places. Statley can make a good case for each way. Noble Yeats, I think he might be able to plod on into a place, but again, do you want to back him each way at 9, 10 to 1? Not particularly exciting. Conflated, again, if he fell behind Alaho, as we talked about when we discussed the Ryanair last year, but if his jumping holds up, he'll have a good chance. And having been against Ahoy Senor for most of his career, I actually quite like him for this now. His 4 runs in the spring have produced 3 wins and a second to L'Empresse at the festival last year. He still tends to jump out to his right on left-handed tracks, but he still keeps, winning this way around. He's never won right-handed. I think he's unseated 2nd and 5th from 3 runs in that direction. He does seem best on good to soft or quicker going. He does seem best when he's had at least 2 runs within the last 3 months. He could get those conditions here. He's 4 from 5 under those circumstances with the only defeat by Bravemansgame. Protectorate I wasn't keen on. Manella Rindo would have a squeak if it came up genuinely soft or heavy. Sounds Russian again if he got his ground. The one I do like at a big price, just I've got a few quid on each way at 100 to 1, is Eldorado Alan, we talked about previously. So when he crossed the line behind Bravemansgame in Weatherby in the Charlie Hall, I said, "Oh, that Welsh national." Surprised they ran him in the Betfair Chase. It was a good decision to do so. Because what you get 44 grand pretty much for finishing well held in second behind Protectorate. Ignore that run at Newbury last time. They put first time cheap pieces on. He raced too close to the pace in the Denman Chase behind Daryl's excellent tip Zamza. But I thought, Eldorado Allen's been to the last 2 festivals. Both times he's come from off the pace to finish placed. He was second to Shishkin in the Arkle a couple of years ago at a big price. Last year he was placed behind Alaho in the Ryanair. I think he's one of those ones I think, well, he can't really win this, but we might be able to get some place money. We'll sneak round at the back and then hopefully pick up the pieces if there's carnage in front of us. So for the purpose of this, I'll go Eldorado Allen each way.
Oh, he's been a good servant to us, really, hasn't he? For all that you didn't get your Welsh national out of him in the end, but he has been a horse where he's always underestimated. He's always there. He always plugs on in the finish. So not so bad each way to go about him because, like I say, he is so dismissed in terms of the win for the race, but you're getting a bigger price then on him as a result for the Gold Cup. But yeah, Galopin Des Champs might just well be the horse to, well, he is the horse to beat as the market would have it, and may well just be the superstar amongst the pack then in this year's Gold Cup. Now we're over the same course and distance as the Gold Cup in our next race, which is the St James's Place Festival Challenge Cup Open Hunter's Chase. Again, lovely, another long title for me to say. 4 5-year-olds and over at 4:10. Andrew, you're a Hunter's Chase aficionado, so who wins it?
Pass. What's Victoria Pendleton on?
What a strange time that was.
It was bizarre, wasn't it? But, I can't claim to have done any work whatsoever on this race, so I have to pass.
He loves his Hunter Chases stuff, Andrew. Daryl, almost as much as you, the pointing expert over there.
Yeah, there's a lot more people that know a lot more about these types of horses than I do. So, and there's 28 races on the card, so this will be a pass for me, Kate, if that's all right.
It's absolutely fine. We shall skip along then to our next race, because we do actually have a very, well, I think anyway, a very intriguing race up next. It's only in its 3rd year of existence. It is the Mrs. Paddy Power Mares Chase 4-5-year-olds and over 2 mile 4 at 450. And again, I know that I am biased, perhaps of course being female, but I think these mares races this year look brilliant. So Daryl, who wins the mares chase for you?
Well, probably Allegory Devassi, but I couldn't back her until I see her line up on the day, because I think Paul Towlin's going to have to keep her on the inside. She jumps violently out to the right, like that was creeping in more and more. Do you know what? I see someone say she didn't do it over hurdles. She did do it over hurdles. I went and watched their runs in France. She did do it, and that's a trait that stayed with her entire career. So I would be concerned about her going left-handed. But saying that, she has got the ability and the engine to be the best horse in this race. But, you know, we see Mount Ida a couple of years ago jumping violently out to the right, and I just couldn't. I can't back a horse at 11 to 10 knowing that everything is not in my favour. So I'm going to leave her. I'll be interested to see how they line up. Like I said, see if she's kept on the inside, kept out of trouble. But Impervious has got plenty in her favour for me. She's just rock solid. She jumps well. She's smooth traveller. She's got a smart turn of foot. She's drifted out to about 9-4 now, because obviously the money's come for Allegory Devassi. I think that's more than fair. I think she's open to further improvement. She's probably got the strongest form in the race, chasing home or beating Journey With Me and Milena Kruner and Hador. I think that's a good piece of form. Yeah, she's on the upgrade. So Impervious for me.
Same with Impervious. I love her. I don't understand. She's another one where I love these races where you can't quite understand why the market is speaking in favour more so of one horse than the other, because Impervious to me, God, she's a good jumper. Oh my word. We talk about Allegory Devassi and her issues, and no people have said, oh, it was only down to the first. Don't worry about that. She was only wandering because she had to do her own donkey work. It wasn't ideal for her. She has done it, like you say, time and time again. They're jumping off to her right. So I just think when there's such little between the pair of those two in terms of ability, in my opinion, then I'm looking for the better technique. And the better technique is with Impervious. She beat the boys in such convincing style in that grade 3 novice chase last time out. It was so likable from her. Again, she jumped beautifully at Cork when she won the grade 2. She was so impressive again there. After that, JP McMahon has bought her, so she's again to our JP acquisition ACCA that we're citing, even though she's already had the one run in the colours. But the pair of those two mares, they both have to carry the grade 2 penalty in this race. So it's not even though she's having to give weight away to Allegory Devassi, and she's just straightforward, isn't she, with that experience to her name. So yeah, Impervious for Daryl and I. Andrew, are you bringing up the hat trick?
Yeah, I can't believe she's not favourite.
Yes, this is
really
wonderful.
Been really impressive since she switched to fences. As you say, she beat the boys last time out. She's 3 from 3 in this sphere. I mean, she was keen, wasn't she, when only 6 to Love Envoy, albeit a field of 19 runners went 22 to 1 at the festival last year. But she seems to settle better, I should say, over fences. I mean, yeah, the favourite, Allegory Devassi, I thought, well, surely she's going to hate going this way round if she's going to jump out to her right. I mean, people who say she didn't do that over hurdles, like Daryl said, she did. But again, it's always exaggerated over fences, isn't it? You see horses who get away with it perhaps over hurdles. As soon as they get over fences, that trait, is increased several fold. So, she's going to go from the front. She might be good enough to jump out to her right and win anyway. But I just hope that whoever's on Impervious takes her up the inside rather than tries to challenge on the outside of the favourite, assuming the favourite's still in contention at the business end of the race. There are others of interest, bigger prices. Magic Days bombed out in the Oracle when taken on for the lead. I'm not sure what the tactics will be on Allegory Devassi. I assume they're going to try and make the running, but Magic Days would have some chance if getting loose on the lead. Jeremy's Flame easily accounted for Zambella at Huntingdon, and she's got an obvious each way chance at 5 to 1. And of course, don't forget, Pink Jim was second by half a length in the race last year for Venetia Williams, returned to winning ways last time. The key to her, though, is she just needs genuinely good to soft or quicker going. If she got it, she could run another good race again.
Yeah, but you make an interesting point there about the pace angle in here, because with Magic Days, with Darren's Hope, I mean, even Zambella then in there as well, there is an awful lot of pace on in this race. All we need is Kitty Galore in there, and we'd have an absolute burn up, wouldn't we, on the front end? So Valagori Dabasi, they want to go forwards on her, then yeah, that might just be a bit of a concern from a pace point of view. Rather than Impervious, she can just do whatever she wants. So yeah, so all of us then on her. So I'm delighted with that one. I know I'm going to be getting in there first with my nap at the end of this show anyway. And the final race though of the 2023 Cheltenham Festival is the Martin Pipe Conditional Jockeys Handicap Hurdle for 4-year-olds and over to mile 4. This comes up at 5:30. A race that has produced many a smart winner over the last few years, most notably the Gold Cup favourite. But who wins this year's renewal, even, Andrew?
Sorry, we are Martin Piping.
We are Martin Piping.
My racing post seems to... Is Gaelic Coast still in there for Donald McKean? This one is probably going to be an extremely big price. Around about 150 to 1 or something like that.
I was going to say, I'm still scrolling.
Probably unlikely to get in the race in terms of where he'll be in the race in the weights at the moment. But the reason I mentioned
still there, but
he ran in the per temps qualifier at Musselburgh, the race you talked about earlier on with Coulter. I thought that they went steady that day. Like at that 2-day Musselburgh meeting, it was a massive advantage to be up with the pace. The majority of I think something like 10 out of the 13 winners were on the front end throughout. It was very hard to come from off the pace, particularly in that race. And we saw Wacool, who did best of the closers in 4th, come out and win. Was it the Rendlesham at Haydock next time out to give the hold-up horse's form a boost. There was another horse, a Fergal O'Brien horse, whose name escapes me, who ran well behind Emma Tom at Doncaster next time out. And yeah, Gaelic Coast 62 in the weights at the moment, so it's looking unlikely. But he was third best of the hold-up horses, when a 28 to 1 6th in that Musselburgh contest after being ridden patiently towards the inside. And I thought he would potentially cause a huge upset if he got to run in this race. But that aside, I've not got a great deal to say about the race.
And hopefully he gets a form boost from Coulter in the Potents earlier on, who finished second in that Musselburgh contest. Yeah, and Hurricane Harvey, like you say, was just in front of Gaelic Coast there, the Fergal O'Brien horse in that Musselburgh contest. But like you say, he does need a few to come out then to be getting into that race anyway for Andrew. So Daryl, any stronger opinions on the Martin Pipe?
Oh God, I like Mike I.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to like him, but I do. He's been a pain in the ass, hasn't he? But this horse travelled so nicely on trials day at Cheltenham. Like he's always been a horse that's either travelled through his race and found nothing, or not travelled and then stayed on strongly. This time he was doing it all. It was all in sync, and I think there's more to come from him. He comes from that really good crop of novices. Danny, I like to move it, and Nappers Hill and whoever else. But I think it's more to come from him. He's off the ceiling rating of 145, which is top weight. This has obviously been the plan for him. I think 2.5 miles is his trip. Last year at Aintree, he chased home 3-stripe life in the Grade 1 Mersey Novice Hurdle. I thought he was still finishing strongly. I just perhaps didn't think he had the pace to sort of challenge in a sharp track like that. Stiff finish here would suit him. Obviously, we know he handles the track. The ground is, I don't think the ground is an issue for him either way. I think he's just rock solid, a double-figure price for an each-way proposition. I don't think the novices this year are that great, so I can't see too many ahead of the handicap, other than perhaps Favre Des Champs, who is interesting. So I'd keep an eye on him because he's got the Bartlett entry as well. But Might Eye for now, yeah.
Might Eye, that pesky Might Eye, he's another one where he's going to come good again at some point, you just know it. But when exactly that's going to be, this might just be the perfect setup then for him in the Martin Pipe. Right, just naps to get, so I'm going first. Impervious, funnily enough, in the 450 in the mares chase. And for me, Daryl Soz, but you're up next.
Blood Destiny for me.
Yes, Blood Destiny in the triumph. And Andrew?
Impervious, jumping on the Impervious bandwagon.
To be fair, I can't really claim a nap first when I've literally got the same nap as you on the Thursday anyway. So I've actually foiled myself there with that. So both of us on Impervious. So that is wonderful. Right. That is everything from us from all 4 days of the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. A big thank you to Andrew and to Daryl for all of their hard work, all of their tips. Best of luck to you lads for all of your bets and for Cheltenham. Thank you so much to you for watching. Thank you to our sponsors, Bet UK. Best of luck with your own bets for the Cheltenham Festival next week. It is the greatest show on turf, so enjoy every minute of it.